All right, I got some questions. Appreciate y'all for helping me out. Now, as you guys know, I'm doing research for our first book. And this is a Lincoln book. And this is a highly regarded book. So I'm not saying I'm smarter than this person. I'm not saying my work is better than this person. Everything this guy has done, I'm trying to do. I'm not really trying to crap on this book per se. But I disagree with so much of the social commentary that I want to know if I'm tripping. And I have to build a network of communication as to where I'm having a dialogue to see, is this just me? Because on its face, now this is a Pulitzer Prize winning book. This is one of the highest awards you can win in publication. It's won all kind of awards. But this book is written about Lincoln's morality and his devotion to deity. They're not necessarily saying he's a Christian, but his godliness and his morality. Now, this is where my problem is. And it's a lot of levels to this. First of all, just because you're pro-slavery does not mean you're a moral person. I mean, this is just because you're anti-slavery does not mean you are a moral person. Because let's take an example let's just start with that. Because it's an automatic assumption that in this book, if you're anti-slavery, you're a moral person. If I were to say, I think women should have the right to vote, but they shouldn't be able to work. If they do work, they shouldn't get paid as much as men. Their primary role should be in the home. They shouldn't be educated. I'm still misogynistic. It's just a part of that I agree with non-misogynistic people on. Lincoln felt there should be slavery. Slavery should stay where it is. And he said, if it don't die for 100 years, he was fine with slavery lasting his whole lifetime. And he was racist. He said clearly, if somebody got to be in charge, I believe white folks should be in charge. He said, I don't believe that a black man is my equal in intellect, appearance, or most anything else. But if he works, he should be able to he should eat from the work that he does. But that's kind of like the misogyny thing. Does anti-slavery, is there an argument that I'm missing that validates an automatic assumption of morality if you're anti-slavery? Now, what I'm going to do next is connect this into today, because this is resonating today for a reason. But is that completely off?
Ask the question again.
To make the assumption that because somebody is anti-slavery, I don't think we should have slavery. But I do think black people should be second-class citizens. I don't think that they should be able to marry white people. I don't believe that they should be educated. I don't believe that they should be able to vote. I don't believe that they should be able to get jobs. I don't believe that they should be able to buy land. I don't believe none of this other stuff, but they just should be able. But they're saying he was fighting this anti-slavery fight because he was moral. to me, is that just on his face a problem?
I mean, yeah, I would think so, but whoever's approving the book to be published or giving it the prize is going to feel differently. They're going to be
Why?
probably because they're white. Most likely, they're like, "Oh, that's cool." It's different when you coming from a different position. If you black and you read that, you're not gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's 100%."
But this is what I'm saying. Where is the groundswell from the black Civil War scholars that's going, nah, I haven't heard it, I haven't seen it, I haven't found it. You remember when 1619 Project came out? You heard about that. If you didn't even know what it was. Everybody was talking about it, and it was either people loving it or people going nuts, hating it. Even in the scholarly community, I'm not hearing somebody saying something as foundational as your argument being, if you are against slavery, you're a moral person. It's a long way you go, because we know this, because now I'm saying this book got the award.
But if it's immoral people saying that, then what they're going to agree.
Okay, so are we saying the majority? This is 2022. So this ain't an old book. This is a new book. So we're talking in the 21st century. This book is being held as the Lincoln Gospel. It's a Pulitzer Prize. It ain't just New York Times bestseller. This is Pulitzer Prize. Is society saying that morality is in 2025 or 2022 at the very least, based on the white value system?
I think you can't generalize everybody's morality into together. You know what I mean? Like everybody's gonna have different levels of what they feel is moral and immoral.
But that's my point. How can we say that people who were anti-slavery were automatically moral, because we're not looking at the value system of the people that fall victim to the rest of what he felt? The rest of what he felt was highly racist. But you're saying he's a moral person, and in 2025, when somebody can say, I identify as a mailbox, and you're supposed to respect
that.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying at this point we're supposed to be so. I said mailbox so I didn't offend somebody who really identify as something. You know what I mean? But I'm saying in this time that we're so socially conscious to worry about people's reality and their position and placement in society and under the guise of respect. How can a book like this come out?
Do most people respect us or our struggles?
I don't think so.
Do we?
I don't think we do. But I think
I think some people do. I don't think all people do.
I think the people who are judging the book, of course, they don't care about the things that we endured during slavery.
But where are
and these are the people who are making the rules. These are the people who have so much power, who are able to push that book forward.
Where are our scholars? Where are our activists? Because I'm saying some black person, and I'm saying black person because black people should be closest to our struggle and information, generally speaking.
Not if the black person benefit from the white.
I got you, but I'm saying
some black people have to go along to get along. Everybody's not like the spook that sat at the door.
All of us?
I ain't saying all of us. I'm saying some who get a position of power, sometimes you have to bow down to said power.
I got you. Which
that
is probably
means-
why I'm not teaching right now.
That means you gotta, yeah, that's cool. Sometimes you gotta cool. So if you are able to vote for, I'm saying like if
You gotta
you a
rephrase
black
that.
person and you get some type of position of power,
Right.
half of the time you have a boss. It's very rare that your boss is black. It's very unlikely that y'all think the same.
Got you.
But half of the time you gotta go along to get along if you want to continue to move forward. Everybody's not like the spook that sat at the door.
Agree 100%.
All skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Where are our white activists? Where are our LGBTQ plus people? How do you miss something as foundational and broad as the racial dichotomy of the country at a Pulitzer level? Most of our universities,
You miss it because you don't care. You're not looking for it. You don't. It's nothing to you.
but this is my question. We're at a time that if you adhere to traditional thinking, and that offends a non-traditional thinking person, the traditional thinking person is wrong. We've made a social movement out of respecting subjective realities, not objective.
I don't think everybody respects that stuff. Not everybody respects that.
But you get canceled.
Not really.
What was the dude name with the TV show
It's
that
not.
said something
but
about the guy that got shot in the neck?
he's
and-
back on Jimmy Kimmel.
I know, and they shut that dude. They kicked that dude completely off TV.
But he's back on TV. He's not
I
canceled.
know, because
He was
in
really,
this day and time,
it was really because he was talking shit about Trump is what it was.
yes,
And they was like, yo, shut it down. But you can talk shit about trans people and they ain't gonna shut your shit down, bro.
tell Dave Chappelle that.
He's still doing his thing. He's still on
Where
there.
was he doing it? That was the whole point of his last. Did you look at his last special, the closer?
I didn't finish it.
He went to Dubai or something and was saying,
No, Saudi Arabia, that's
Yeah.
where they paid a whole bunch of comedians to come
Yes.
over there. That's why everybody was mad that they came over there. It wasn't because he had to, it was because they was paying him that money out.
But the closer, which is the one he did when he came back home, he's saying, I can speak more free in repressive Saudi Arabia than I can at home, because if I make a joke about fellow citizens, I get shut down. So no, it's not like you don't get shut down if you say something about
He ain't shut down. He's making his money. He can still put his shows out. He can still get arena. Everything he needs, he can still get. Now there's gonna be a bunch of people mad at him, but who cares? There's going to always be a loud voice of angry people on the internet.
All
But
I'm
if they
asking,
can't affect anything,
all I'm asking is, where's our loud voice of angry people about something this blatant?
white people don't care about that shit, and they're not going to speak up for black people. They never have, and they never will.
Okay, let's say they're not speaking up for black people. Let's say they're speaking up for scholastic integrity.
They're not.
Bro, what you're saying,
They're not.
all you need is a history book, a dictionary, and a thesaurus.
That's like us expecting kindness from the devil. Come on. These people enslaved us. Why do we expect them to do anything for us?
This whole system, they're in this to make money. Like, none of this is like, they're not caring about academic integrity. They're just like, hey, look, we gonna make some bank off this book.
Okay, well,
They gonna buy it. They gonna eat this one up.
well, I just for this is Random House, so this is not an academic press. But this person is hailed as a scholar. New York Times bestseller. Okay, I am a Lincoln historian. So when I saw this, what? I'm not the only Lincoln historian. I'm not the only Civil War historian. Somebody saw this. Okay, let's say that this was, since it's not an academic press, that means it didn't go through peer review. But when you go through peer review enough times and you big time, the commercial people will publish your stuff because you're gonna sell so much of it. You're bigger than the scholastic stuff. That's when you big time, way bigger than me. I'm still trying to get through the academic publishing level. The scholars should have come out and said, that's not accurate about Lincoln. Okay, fine. If you're saying racism is still just as deep and as rampant, and I'm not disagreeing, where's the academic concern that why is this assumption that if you were against slavery, you were automatically a moral person? And there's so many, we had Jim Crow. That wasn't moral. We had convict leasing. That wasn't moral. We had segregation. That wasn't moral. We had civil rights resistance. That wasn't moral. We had the war on drugs. That wasn't moral. We had mass incarceration. That wasn't moral. We have a history of immorality independent of slavery.
So why would you think if we have a history of immorality, and then they approve a book saying, oh, this one's moral, why would you not expect it to still be not immoral if they have a history of everything being immoral that they do?
Say it again.
If you have a history of doing everything immorally,
I'm not gonna say everything.
Well, I'm just saying, you have a history of immortality and you approve a book, why would it be surprising that something you deem as moral is actually immoral because you've been doing it your entire life or career?
Because there is a social claim that the country has grown. There's a...
That don't matter. What does that matter? What does that mean?
Look what they are doing to immigrants.
They shot a white lady in the face because she was trying to say mess. They shoot white people because they were trying to say mess.
But that's not new. White supremacy has always been a double-handed sword. They would terrorize.
I'm saying they don't care. They shoot white people and shoot black. If you in the way of what we doing, we don't care. We don't. It doesn't matter. It's not about being.
So are you saying that times have not changed?
Hell no.
Have we gotten any progress?
No, it hasn't changed. It just wears a different hat. It hasn't changed. They may not beat us in the street, but they damn sure beating us in our office, beating us through systems.
You can have a few people, like individuals within society that may feel differently or act differently, but the system is still there. So no, it's not changing.
And I would say the system is working perfectly.
Yes. Now I agree with you. Now here's the question. Is change and progress the same thing?
No. Well, I guess it depends on your goal. Progress is a goal. You know, it has a goal in mind. Change could be anything. It's just different.
In order to see change, you will have to witness progress first.
Okay. Have we seen change or progress?
No. It just wears a different hat.
That'd be change. Would that not be change?
No. Because to me it has not changed. It just may have reconstructed how it presents itself to us, but it's still working. So they may not be violent, like I may not be able to come up to you and punch you in the face, but I can still do things to you that can affect your life detrimentally.
Well, I can still punch in the air. Remember 2016 to 2022, they was just shooting black folks unarmed and.
That's fine.
You know,
So that goes to my point. To me,
I'm with you.
it has not changed. To me, that's just my personal opinion.
Okay, so what say you to either of you, to people who say you're just having a victim mentality because nobody's hanging you, you get to vote, you can go to school, you're not segregated, you got all these laws protecting you now. What say you to people who make that claim?
They're still systems.
Hmm?
To me, that they are still systems in place.
Are those claims even real?
As far as what?
When they say you have all these laws protecting you.
There's no laws protecting us. You saw how quick that they protected Asians when COVID happened. There's no law specifically that protects specifically black people. There's not one law.
I don't know that there should have to be. And like Malcolm X said in the 60s, we got all the laws we need on the books. You're not following them. If you put a law say don't hit black folks upside the head, because think about it, the Trail of Tears with the Native Americans went all the way to the Supreme Court fighting for their land. They won. Andrew Jackson said, keep the dice rolling. They won in his court. And you know what the Supreme Court did in response to the president ignoring? So that's the law part, but I'm not trying to answer your question, but yeah, we'll have laws, but if the country don't follow, we got laws that say as an American citizen, you should not be shot unarmed. There is levels of force that should be used in a particular situation, and we know statistically, disproportionately, the violence and incarceration and school suspensions, police being called, is disproportionately higher when it comes to black folks. So when I see something like this in academia, it doesn't surprise me. But when you have somebody who studies with what I study, people blame me for seeing race too much. So you're seeing race where it ain't. You're making everything about race. Things have gotten better. I ask you, is there any validity in the argument of Americans, of liberals, of conservatives, of independents that say we have progressed since the 1860s?
I mean, you can say progress, but progress is, is relative to what your goal is. So if you're trying to lose 100 pounds and you lose 2, that's progress. But you still got 98 to go, so it ain't like you at the finish line. Talk about change, we can do it.
Do you feel oppressed? Have you ever experienced, each of you, have you ever experienced
define feeling, define
racism,
what that means.
oppression?
Yes.
What is it like? What do you mean? Like, do I feel like I'm in a disadvantage because I'm black?
Yes. Have you been treated in society? A situation, not a general feeling.
Daily almost.
Okay, this happened. Tell me what it was as generally as you can without messing something up. Say, this happened.
I'm leaving names.
Names like addresses.
Okay. Well.
No, I mean, I would say, one, I don't feel like I can call the police at all. Like, that don't even feel like an option to me. Things like,
I agree.
Like restaurant, I know one restaurant I go with a lot of people, and we sit down very quickly. I remember one day I went in to book the table, and man, we were sitting there for about 45 minutes to it. I'm like, why is it taking so long the day I go in to set up the table? But when y'all go in, it's like that. And you know, I always feel like that at restaurants. Man, we went to Mexico. I went in to get breakfast at the all inclusive hotel that I paid to get into, and they're like, all right, yeah, we seat you whenever you come in. Tell me why they walk me down the hallway all the way to the back, right? And I'm sitting in the back by the kitchen. I'm the first person in there. This whole cafeteria is empty. I was like, why are y'all sitting me in the back? And the only person back there was another black girl. And I looked at her, she looked at me, and she was like, we was like, what in the world is going on? Not a soul in the entire restaurant sat us in the back.
I think most of a lot of my experiences come within the structure of work that I find. I think I have more issues with being a woman first and then black.
Mm-hmm.
So those are kind of some of my struggles. But yeah, we deal with stuff like, I feel like I could call the police, but as soon as you get
are the police.
Wait.
Joe.
Man, so I do feel like I can call the police, but as soon as you get there, let me explain what
Hey,
happened. Let me lay it all out, because I don't want to go to jail.
She gotta
So it's like I gotta overly explain. I might have to bring out the badge, like, hey man, I'm not y'all sister. I'm like your cousin. Like I ain't the po-po, but you know. But as far as work, that's every day. And they don't see it though. But they don't see the systems that benefit them. They don't see the racist things that they do. Is every day.
What do you say to the people possibly at your job, and you may have heard that there, that say it's not race, it's competition. You're making it race, but it's about competition. You know, all of us feel bad at work.
Oh no. Not when they may have people come in who don't have the same education as you, don't have the same experience. They might only get the job because you cool with the boss. Or when they hire white people, all the white people in position of power, it's not no black people. Every single position, let's say it's 10 positions, all 10 positions by white people.
I worked at a university that the only people that hired black people was the black people there. And it was, at one point they hadn't hired a black person in 5 years. And their answer to why, when questioned by the black people that worked there, was black people don't apply. That, I asked them, that's not telling you something? That the way you move? I attended a university. In their master's degree program, I got a 3.82. I was told I was not a successful candidate. I wouldn't even be provisionally accepted into the PhD program at that university. I had just completed their master's program with a 3.82 out of 4.0. I ended up getting accepted at a better school, finishing the program, no problem. So I found out the school that me with the 3.82 never accepted a black person. No, they never graduated a black person through their PhD program and had only accepted one.
So all of our struggles, to me, sound systematic.
Well, yes, and no president has ever mentioned the Kerner report. The Kerner report is a report, I think it was 68. It was after MLK was assassinated. That Lyndon B. Johnson said, Why are black folks so mad? Why won't they quit being bad? Let's do a study. And the United States government did a study, and it came back that every system that oppresses black people, housing, policing, education, food, safety, and something else, all of them are controlled by the white populace. Either the government or business, but is not controlled by their community. No American president has mentioned that report, including Black Superman, Obama. I find that disappointing. When people say, well, you need to start your own organizations. Y'all asking people to do for themselves. You need to do for yourself. You don't do for yourself. When black folks don't work together, that's another thing. I wish before black people start talking about black people, educate yourself about black people. I'm sure all of us have heard black folks say black folks don't work together. There's never been a time black folks ain't work together.
I know when I was going through the process of purchasing my second property, and I know it may sound petty, but I wanted somebody who looked like me. So I Googled.
Racist.
I don't care.
I told you I'm racist.
I don't care.
I told you I'm racist.
Man, look, I went down the line.
Your race first.
I called every black woman that I could find. And if no black woman picked up, I was about to call every black man. And then after that, Hispanics was up. But whoever called me back first, that's who I was going with. Mm-hmm. So it was a couple black women that called me back first or whatever. And that black sister put me on. So not only did she help with setting me up to purchase the property, I was like, yo, who's your plumber? Because she already knew how I was. She was like, hey, I'm going to send you a black plumber. My plumber's black. The guy who came fix my air conditioner is black. The only person I really tried my best to hire to do who did the floors and the painting, I tried to hire him first. He was black. He didn't come through, so I had to go with a Latino. But, like, I'm cool with that. Because even when I had an issue with the black guy, I was like, come on, Mr. Whoever, like, I want to keep working with you, so we got to fix this problem. Mm-hmm. Now, anytime I have a plumbing issue, I call Mr. Whoever. Mm-hmm. We cool.
We are given this misrepresentation that black folks don't work together. And I challenge anybody, tell me a time that we didn't. The core of the abolitionists was black folks. Stop. The Civil War went in favor of the North when black folks came into the Union Army. Let's start there. Not to mention the fact, black folks fought in the Revolutionary War. First person to die was Crispus Attucks, black dude. So we done fought in every war. We had to organize ourselves because everything was segregated until 1965, 7 years before I was born. 6 years before I was born. 6. Okay, so we're not talking ancient history that these people, the people who thought like that, are still walking around. They're my parents' age. And guess what? They had kids. So that's how this stuff is happening.
Now they're in Congress.
Yeah, so
nah, they still running the country. I personally feel like
but I'm saying, where are the voices of the alleged good people?
Who said they good?
Who's good people?
They do.
Of course they say they good.
You can't take somebody's word for they good.
They're saying the reason why you use use the pronouns now is because you have to be considerate of people, whether you think that way or not. Where are my pronouns of A? Moral is
we gave
not.
y'all a word here.
Start with it.
We gave y'all a word.
Said all rap songs.
So nothing has changed.
No, not to me. I just think it looks different. So racism, it may not be as violent, but there's still racism. There's still ways that they're doing things. They still, most of these people still run all of those same areas that you brought up.
Oh, that's a given. That is 100% given. And I even question the violent part. Because when they want to.
Well, I mean,
what was
violent,
that, Tamir, was that the little boy that got shot in the park?
well, now I think they streamlining most of the violence through police. Yes, we know that
We've
that's
always
still.
done that.
We
The
know that that's
police
still
have
racist.
always enforced the agenda of the state. Who was getting hit with billy clubs in the 60s? Black folks. Who was swinging them? The police. Who had the German Shepherds? The police. Who had the water hoses? The police. Who had the shootout with the Black Panther Party? The police. That's not the police came from slave catchers. The overseers is where the officer came from. Now I know it's a whole bunch of people who's gonna get mad about that, but guess what? The policing order of England that most police stations teach is where policing came from is not older than the overseer and slave catching that was going on in the United States. Just not so. So now I'm thinking, if things haven't changed, why do they appear so different?
Go ahead, Joe. I said things change. I just think we ain't made no progress.
Oh, so things can
To me,
change.
change
Just
is
because
change.
you're doing it a different way, as long as the outcome
Yeah,
is the
it's
same.
change. It's yeah.
Yeah,
It's change with a lack of progress.
because they've been remixing it. They
Yeah.
remixed it. At first it was slavery, then they remixed it to convict leasing, then they remixed it to Jim Crow, then they remixed it to segregation, then it was.
Now it's just employment. They threw all poor white people in there too.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
y'all slaves too.
That's what James Baldwin said. He said the biggest slave group has always been poor white people. He said the saddest part is they never knew it, because by numbers that's the biggest labor force, and that's who's been. Everything has been designed to manipulate that group of people. We're only 13% of the population. They really not thinking about us. But for whatever reason, the significance of our presence in this country is the only one that brings it to its knees. The atrocities to the Native Americans? No. The atrocities to Mexicans? No. The atrocities to women? No. Immigrants? No. They tried it again in 2020. They let all the other stuff go. They found out with George Floyd. That went around the world. It's something about black people in here. The fact that they never addressed or fixed that issue. They never repaired reparations. They never ended slavery, 13th Amendment. And that problem still exists. We're not the biggest minority group in this country. But when you hear race, nothing cuts like black and white in United States history. And for that to be, where my scholars, my white scholars, my Asian scholars, my Mexican scholars, my white scholars.
Dr. Butler, you almost talking about probably 1% of the population who probably even have a PhD level education. And out of that 1%, none of them gives a fuck about us. You probably a piece of a 1%. So if you, like you just named Asians, they benefit off of the white construct. You mentioned Hispanics, and none of them think like us. So if it's not us that's bringing up the problem, all of these other people, they benefit.
And then one Asian scholar is like, hey, this is the, ain't nobody listening to him about Abraham Lincoln.
I do agree that when it's somebody else, I stand with Israel. I stand with who's the people fighting Russia. I stand with all these Americans. You know, I stand with this group. I stand with the black folks. Answer the bill for everybody else.
Nah, not recently, and I actually respect it. The fact that we shut the hell up. Now that they deporting all of these people and everybody's online getting mad at us that we won't be a part of their problem. That's not our problem. Shut up. Asians that called us out. What's the other ones that they going after right now? No. Well, Asians, Mexicans, and what's the other group? This is some with an M. No. No. Fool. Anywho. But every group is pissed that black people don't have nothing to say. No. Everybody want to be black until you encounter some nigga shit.
Well, not just that. You'll have LGBTQ with an issue. You'll have black folks there because a lot of black people are part of the LGBTQ movement, lifestyle, ideology, however you want to represent it. But notice when something happened to black people, not even the black people in the LGBTQ is with the black folk. If LGBTQ shows up, if Brown Lives Matter shows up, Mexican people, if Asian Lives Matter shows up to something that's dealing with black folks, they are not there to support us. They come with their agenda to promote their agenda. When the George Floyd stuff was going on, the Mexican Lives Matter, those people were there with their flags and their agenda. They weren't saying what's been happening to the black people is what we're here to support. They start talking about them. And with the LGBTQ and the other groups. So I felt I was disappointed that some black people, I felt, gave into the pressure to say something nice about the guy that got shot in the neck. What was his name?
Charlie Kirk.
Yes. Oh, well, dude, I'm not saying say something derogatory because the man got wife and kids and all that, but you know what? The wife and kids benefited off of the hate that he was putting out. So I think you get what you get in the situation. But I felt that it was out of line for other communities to say that the black community should have been more caring because of what, and I really thought it was out of line for them to compare him to one of our leaders. Like, okay, this dude admittedly hated black folks, and we're going to compare him to somebody who has gone through, who's, to my feeling, whose fault was his humanitarianism, because I think a lot of black folks suffered because of MLK's humanitarian agenda or his moral suasion agenda, making black folks think if we act good enough, if we toe the line, if we follow the rules, then we will be treated differently. And that wasn't what it was about. But you got to actually read MLK's books to understand how that process went, not learn about MLK from the people that actually shot him.
Well, I mean, to your point, of course, that's these everybody that you name, all of these people are in position to make decisions about this book. They don't care about our struggle. So all of these
Not even our perspective.
fuck no, they don't care. That's just my look.
If I don't care about your life, I definitely don't care about your perspective.
This, you know what's probably
realize
my biggest problem?
They benefit off of the fact that it happens to us. It's better us. It's better that we're getting shot. It's better that we're the victims than them because it takes all attention off of all of the subgroups. So now that those subgroups are now dealing with hard shit, and it ain't black people, now you got something to say.
Oh yeah, well, but to act like it's one thing to take the time to at least respect my perspective enough to discredit it.
They don't know our history.
But just to act like it ain't even there.
They don't know our history.
Oh no! Now that they know, because I'm gonna tell you, I had to read all the books, and it's in the books. It's in there. What they did, what we said. It's in there. They just go, okay, that doesn't matter. This guy was a moral guy.
So do they know that? They don't know our history. When they're online and they're talking about these points.
I'm talking about the academics.
No. I'm going.
Okay.
I'm getting into that. They don't know our history, the slavery that is. You got people who then moved here who benefit off of everything that we've set in place and we fight and we died for.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know the black. They don't understand why black and whites are against each other.
I think they don't care. I think they come here. I know this for sure because it happened to me. When I came to an all-white state, Nevada, wasn't no black folks there. So it really was, I was kind of a novelty, right? And I was told, don't go on the Indian reservation. They drink, they drugs, they violent. So I'm like, oh, y'all think I'm an Oreo? No, Playboy, I don't go like that. Because it sounded like them talking about, I grew up my life, people talking about the hood like that. So the first place I went was to the Reds. But I can imagine, and I've talked to a lot of international students, when they come here, they're told, they see the narrative that we see on internet and TV. And black folks is lazy, black folks want a handout. Black folks don't do nothing for themselves. And I'm like, when are black folks not just our military presence, our social presence, our civil rights leaders? What about Garvey? What about the NAACP? What about Booker T. Washington? Our historic black colleges, HBCUs. What about the Black Congressional Congress, the Garvey movement, the Nation of Islam, SNCC, SCLC. We've always created organizations to push us forward and pooled our resources, but we were always infiltrated, even by the United States government, especially by the United States government. And we know that happened because of Fred Hampton with the Black Panther Party. It is empirical proof, if you read COINTELPRO papers, that the government strategically infiltrated and stabilized black organizations, and no other organization has a history of that. We don't hear about Asian organizations being infiltrated and destabilized by the United States government. You don't hear that about Jewish organizations being destabilized. You don't hear that. So that was what I wanted to ask. And you guys did an excellent job of helping me kind of process that, because it wasn't something I could just do a video on. It was as much as, and I've gotten this far in the book. And to be honest, I don't even want to keep reading it, because pretty much when you read one Lincoln book, you read them all. But I'm not lying. At least every third page, and it's probably 1,000 pages, no, 600 pages in this book. Every third page is talking about morality. And it's just like, you have written morality so many times, you had to think of, well, this ain't moral to black people, because he
did think it. That's the point. He never even crossed his mind. It never crossed his mind at any point in time. He kept writing, he kept typing, and black people at no point in time crossed his mind. Like, this is bad. This is important.
Oh, no. And it's something D.L. Hughley said that was pretty intense. The most dangerous place a black person can exist is in the mind of a white person. They made slaves unhappy and free people happy. So if you're against slavery, you're a moral person. Not free black folks. Lincoln won with 53% of the vote, and all of his votes came in the North. That would mean 75% of the country did not like black folks. He only won half of the North. He didn't get a vote. He wasn't even on the ballot in most of the southern states. So most of the country have created their narrative of what black people are, and it was not a moral one. When stuff like this happens, it tells me that we've experienced more change than we ever had progress. That being said, I appreciate it. We have class in session after 2 years.
2 years or 1 year? Probably 1 year.
Well, no, I ain't coming back.
Dang. Hit like, hit share, hit subscribe. Follow me at Awesome Entertainment.
Oh, I should have put on my trust method.
Put it in support.
Yeah, I kept